Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hey Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sisi Gaura Nitai ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayam udidayet. Hare Krishna. We are reading this morning a verse which our organizational team picked, a verse which sets a little bit the mood of this Sadhu Sanga. It is taken from the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 15th chapter, verse 42. I welcome all of you. I'm aware that we have also many invisible listeners today who are joining us on the internet. Welcome also to you. Let me just see if somewhere, I think I am the only one who has the text. It's not projected anywhere. It will be. So please repeat. It's in the process, or yeah, 7:15:42. Can already start. Aksham dasha pranam adharma dharmo chakre bimanam ratinam cha jivam dhanurhitasya pranavang patanti sharang tu jivam parameva lakshyam aksham dasha prana dharma dharmo dasha pranama dharma dharmo chakre bimanam ratinam cha jivam dhanurhitasya pranavang patanti sharam tu jivam parameva lakshyam. Because of limited time, I request one of you to chant already now. Chakre bimanam ratinam cha jivam dhanuritasya pranavang patanti ram tu jivam parameva laksham. All right. Aksham, the spokes on the chariot wheel. Dasha, 10. Pranam, the 10 kinds of air flowing within the body. Adharma, irreligion. Dharmo, religion. Chakre, in the wheel. Abhimanam, false identification. Ratinam, the charioteer or master of the body. Cha, also. Jivam, the living entity. Dhanu, the bow. He, indeed. Tasya, his. Pranavam, the Vedic mantra Omkara. Patanti, it is said. Sharam, an arrow. To, but. Jivam, the living entity. Param, the Supreme Lord. Eva, indeed. Lakshyam, the target. Thank you. It is a little difficult, the text, so you will need to wipe off all the sleepiness from your brain and be concentrated. The 10 kinds of air acting within the body are compared to the spokes of the chariot's wheels, and the top and bottom of the wheel itself are called religion and irreligion. The living entity in the bodily concept of life is the owner of the chariot. Okay, up till here, let us understand. It talks about the material body, which is like compared to a vehicle, a chariot, and the living entity is riding on that chariot. Now it will talk about a second subject, the destination of that journey of life. The Vedic mantra Pranava is the bow. The pure living entity himself is the arrow. And the target is the Supreme Being. Once again, the context. We as living entities are on a chariot made of material elements. And a recommendation is given in the Bhagavatam how we can make our life's journey successful by reaching the supreme target through mantra meditation. No? Mantra, pranavam, the sacred mantra. Om is the means, the upaya. Like a bow is the means to transport an arrow to a faraway destination. The mantra is the upaya, the means, which can also move us in our life's journey to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse is a little cryptic, so it may be helpful to have this little translation in simple, in understandable. Well, the concepts are given, but that we discover them. So now please listen to the purport. The 10 kinds of life air are always flowing within the material body. They are called Prana, Apana, Samana, Vyana, Udana, Naga, Koma, Krikala, Devadatta, and Dhananjaya. They are compared here to the spokes of the chariot's wheels. The life air is the energy for all of a living being's activities, which are sometimes religious and sometimes irreligious. Thus, religion and irreligion are said to be the upper and lower portions of the chariot's wheels. When the living entity decides to go back home, back to Godhead, his target is Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the conditioned state of life, one does not understand that the goal of life is the Supreme Lord. Nate vidu svatagatim hi Vishnum durashayaye bahir artha maninaha. The living entity tries to be happy within this material world, not understanding the target of his life. When he is purified, however, he gives up his bodily conception of life and his false identity as belonging to a certain community, a certain nation, a certain society, a certain family, and so on. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatpadatvena nirmalam. Then he takes the arrow of his purified life, and with the help of the bow, the transcendental chanting of pranava or the Hare Krishna mantra, he throws himself towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented that because the words bow and arrow are used in this verse, one might argue that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity have become enemies. I'm shooting myself at the Lord. Is this friendly? However, although the Supreme Personality of Godhead may become the so-called enemy of the living being, this is his chivalrous pleasure. For example, the Lord fought with Bhishma, and when Bhishma pierced the Lord's body on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, this was a kind of humor or relationship of which there are 12. When the conditioned soul tries to reach the Lord by hurling an arrow at him, the Lord takes pleasure, and the living entity gains the profit of going back home, back to Godhead. Another example given in this regard is that of Arjuna. As a result of piercing the Adhara Mina, or the fish within the chakra, he achieved the valuable gain of Draupadi. Now is a last verse. Kindly make an effort to really understand, because here's a summary of the subject. Similarly, if with the arrow of chanting the holy name of the Lord, one pierces Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, by dint of performing this heroic activity of devotional service, one receives the benefit of returning home, back to Godhead. Please join me in the pranam prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavani Paskatyare Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In this verse, the image of archery is used. It is a subject which has been chosen by this year's Sadhu Sanga, where you have here an image of a bow which represents the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And here it's a beautiful piece of art, an arrow which is placed in the bow and then is reaching the supreme target of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it says on the back, the Vedic mantra is the bow, the pure living entity is the arrow, and the target is the Supreme Being. And it has again taken the bow, the arrow, and the goal as the imagery. This was not my plan. It was happening on its own when I phoned Rasika Shiromani, a very talented organizational force behind all this. She said, Maharaj, we wish you to talk on a verse. I said, I have already prepared a lecture on another verse, and I'm a little foolish. In such a short time to prepare another lecture will be difficult. Have mercy on me. Then she said, what verse have you chosen, Maharaj? I said, I chose the verse where the Bhagavatam tells us how we should chant by invoking a certain image. She said, we chose the same verse for you, and we have produced a T-shirt on this verse. I said, well, this is very nice. Krishna seems to work. When devotees want to serve him, he somehow comes into the heart and he enlightens them, and enlightens is maybe not a good word for this thing. He gives them the inspiration. And so we were in perfect, here comes my new American word, we were in perfect sync. We were synced up by Krishna. So yes, this is a little bit the background of this verse. Now I would like to go through this Bhagavatam method with you and explain it to you in some practical ways, and if there is time, we will also make a little exercise on this so that we can really imbibe the teachings of the Bhagavatam and let it guide us, these immortal words, to our ultimate destination. The first is when someone starts to chant, he must have a certain basis from which he starts. This is explained in a very important conversation between Haridas Thakur and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can imagine they would meet every day in Puri, where Mahaprabhu had given Haridas Thakur this place under the Sitabakuli tree. Some of us have visited. It is still there, this tree. And they would discuss certain things or topics, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur later, by what is called I hope I got it right, the intuitive understanding, Vidusha Praman, it's called in Sanskrit, could pen this discussion down. And on one day, Haridas Thakur wanted to explain how the chanting can be successful, and he explained, Sambandha tadvera jnana javat nohaya tavat se nama bhasa jivera ashraya. As long as the living entity does not understand his relationship with Lord Krishna, the individual soul will only take shelter of the shadow of the holy name, not the real holy name. It's called Nambasa. However, he says, if one of those souls, by a saintly Vaishnava's mercy, understands his relationship with Lord Krishna and chants Lord Krishna's holy name, then he attains a great treasure of spiritual love, a treasure that is the essence of all religious activity. So the idea is here, when you chant like the Mayavadis chant, without knowing who they are, that they are part of the Lord, but they got it confused. I think they are the Lord, they are singing to themselves. That is what you sometimes hear in kirtan concerts, where the leaders are not yet fully informed of what they do. Then they will say, this means singing to yourself. Hare Krishna. Then you have only the shadow of the holy name. You can't make the bhakti experience. It won't work for you. Similarly, if a devotee who thinks, well, I'm in the Hare Krishna movement, but he does not have an understanding of what is going on, who he is, who's the Lord, he's just mechanically singing something and hopes it's still soon over that he can take food, then there's a shadow experience happening. It's not the real thing. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains what this means to have this real basis of sambandha. And he says, as a footnote, it means 3 meditations. I, an infinitesimal, conscious being, am Lord Krishna's eternal servant. This is how you start. I'm a servant here. I'm the servant in the Sadhu Sanga. I will chant for the Lord's pleasure. Then, second meditation. Lord Krishna, the all-powerful conscious being, is my only master. The Lord is there. He's there. I sometimes say, if you want a real life, first you have to become real. Who are you? I am small living entity. The Lord is my only master. It also means I'm not the body. It means I'm not what I'm thinking. It means for Sachinandan Swami, he is not a famous or infamous Swami in the Hare Krishna movement. He is a servant, first of all, of the Lord, a small living entity. This purification is necessary. Prabhupada, he says in the purport, Savopadi vinirmuktam. Take all these upadis, all these designations which cover you, the pure soul, take it away. Come to the point where you really are a soul, a part of Krishna. Get this fog out of your head. Get the illusion away. In Hari Bhakti Vilas we hear, any spiritual activity, and this describes japa as one of them, will work only if someone practices to purify his consciousness. It's called Bhuta Shuddhi. This is the first step. In the text, Prabhupada said, the chanter takes the arrow of his purified life, and then, with the help of the bow, the transcendental chanting of the pranava or the Hare Krishna mantra, he throws himself, so nice, he throws himself towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a genuine attempt of surrender. No? I remember when my physical father quarreled with Srila Prabhupada. He challenged him. I will not be able to tell about this. Don't worry, Prabhupada defeated him, and he became very, very respectful towards Srila Prabhupada. My father was just angry that I had not become a big director, but a poor soul, a poor monk. And my Prabhupada pacified him and so on. In that same program, one other German man challenged Srila Prabhupada. He got up, really aggressive, and he said, "This is self-hypnoticism. You chant and you..." No, when you are hypnotized, you withdraw from your consciousness and boom, you come in another consciousness, which sometimes has its use also when it's, I don't want to say just like that, but he meant it in a negative way. When you chant like this, you are just dulling yourself. You become hypnotized. Because he spoke so bad English, someone had to translate it. Had to repeat the question or the challenge to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada very purely and innocent said, no, it's self-purification. He just answered like this. You have a wrong concept. It's not hypnotism. It is purification. This is what someone who enters the chanting has to understand. I live in the same room here in Sadhu Sanga with a famous temple president of Germany. And I asked him, "So how are you doing?" And he said, no one knows me here. I don't know anyone. I feel a little lost. I said, "Good. Now you can start your spiritual life. That you detach yourself from the illusion of being something upadi. Don't think only the materialists have it. We also, as long as we are not pure souls, are suffering from upadis, from designations. I'm a big this, I'm I'm famous, and so on. It is necessary for a chanter of the holy name to purify his life. It is very necessary. It is must. It's the basis. Without that, your chanting remains shadowly. Shadowly is not an English word. It means like a shadow. It will not nourish you. Imagine the organization of Sadhu Sanga said, you are so many people, you eat so much, it's so expensive. What we will do today is we will only offer you a shadow of the meal. This is more cost efficient for us. And they make a shadow, they make a pizza and then a light, and the pizza throws a shadow and says, you can all come, it is inexhaustible pizza, the shadow, it will always be there. You would go to your secret stash and eat from there. You would, and if you don't have anything, you would start begging the grihastas, can you feed me? I need a real meal. So in the same way, we need real spiritual life, not the shadow. Otherwise, our material attachments will never leave us. It will just be a pious dream, that's all. So this is explaining to us very nicely these meditations. It starts with I am an infinitesimal, means very small, conscious being. I am Lord Krishna's eternal servant. Lord Krishna, the all-powerful conscious being, is my only master. And this dull and inert material world is a prison house meant to reform me. This is true knowledge of the individual soul, sambandha or relationship with Lord Krishna. So when you chant with this faith and with this knowledge, then the result of this chanting is that love for Krishna will arise. Devotion will arise in the heart. And your chanting will be a blessed chanting. Your stay here at Sadhu Sanga will be let us say, a defining moment in your life. That is a new word I had to learn. It means your life before Sadhu Sanga and your life after Sadhu Sanga are different. They are different. Now you are really enriched in your spiritual practice. This is what you can learn here. By the way, it won't happen if you just buy a t-shirt. We sometimes are a little externally minded what to do. We condition. So it's, you have to bring the t-shirt in your heart, the message in your heart, not just wear it on your skin. It has to come by the practice. In chanting, practically it means you sit down, you center yourself, you understand what you are doing now, you're praising the Lord, you're chanting, and then you focus on the Lord. That's why we have deities here, so that you are facing the deities. I hope I'm not totally with the. It's all right. I'm with my back to Tulsi, and then you chant, my dear devotees, for their pleasure. And as you do this, as you chant, and you focus yourself, the pure living entity, on the Lord, the mantra will act and it will just bring you to the lotus feet of Krishna. You won't be sitting there any longer if you chant. You will chant there. Or you will not be any longer in the material world, entangled with a mind full of concerns and worries and anxieties. But the mantra itself will take you like the bow will take an arrow and go. For this you have to let go. When I was young, I took archery lessons. I did many foolish things. I still remember I had a teacher who was well accomplished with a long bow, a certain type of bow. And he said, I will now blindfold myself. He blindfolded himself like this. And I will shoot. And there was a target fixed on a tree, like this target. And he shoot. And he was thinking like this, was pulling it back, and we all as children, wow, what an archer. And he missed the target by 10 meters. He said, I wanted to teach you. If you don't look, if you don't focus yourself, you will never hit the target. Just in the same way, I want to repeat this today. This is thanks to my archery teacher, Gunnar Michelsen. If you don't focus yourself on chanting for the Lord's pleasure, and then you might miss the target. It will be some good rhythm, maybe some nifty rhythm, some interesting smoky voice of the kirtan leader, some novel dancing, but it will not be the purification of the heart and the making a contact with Krishna. It will not be so much bhakti. For bhakti to happen, no, Rupa Goswami says, we know there needs to be, it's Krishna, it's a conscious effort involving body, mind, and senses, and you do it with a certain intent that is to please Krishna. I think you know the verse, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana kamatyanavita anukulyena Krishna nu shilanam bhakti uttama. For bhakti to happen, you need these elements, and then it will be very, very nice. Now a good example is given here. And a thought-provoking example of Arjuna winning something very valuable by using his bow. And I would like to just tell you this in some detail. Another example given in this regard is that Arjuna, as a result of piercing the Adharamina, or the fish within the chakra, achieved the valuable gain of Draupadi. Similarly, with the arrow of chanting the holy name of the Lord, one pierces Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. By dint of performing this heroic activity of devotional service, one receives the benefit of returning back home, back to Godhead. You might be familiar, so I will go a little bit fast in the beginning. The Pandavas were the sons of Devatas. They came in the forest, and when their illustrious father Pandu died, the saints advised the Pandavas to go back to Hastinapur, the town where the king Dhritarashtra ruled in the absence of the ruler Pandu. Now, when the 5 Pandavas, looking brilliant like flames, arrived at the gates of Hastinapur, all the citizens were blessed. Pandu's sons are alive. The 5 godly Pandavas are here. They are the rightful rulers. Dhritarashtra has only ruled, as a representative, not the real one. And now the sons are here. They will take the rulership of the most powerful dynasty of the earth. All the citizens were celebrating this, except for Dhritarashtra and his 100 evil sons. These sons constantly conspired against the Pandavas, and finally, as a long succession, they invited them into a house, a palace. It looked as beautiful as this building, but more beautiful even. It was built of highly inflammable shellac. And in the midst of the night, they wanted to burn the sleeping Pandavas together with their mother Kunti. Vidura gave Yudhishthira a hint. Be careful, you need to have a tunnel and escape the fire. And the Pandavas took this advice serious. Yudhishthira got a tunnel maker, and they made a tunnel which led through the underground out of this palace. So when the fateful day came, where the minister of Dhritarashtra realized his plan for assassinating the Pandavas and put the palace ablaze, the Pandavas were well prepared and escaped through a tunnel into anonymity. Is that an English word? No one knew them. They dressed as brahmanas, gave away their royal ornaments, their hair became matted, and they hid. They were in hiding. They were now divested of their kingdom. It was clear Dhritarashtra and his 100 sons would constantly attempt to kill them. They needed to live in secrecy. Within that time, many things happened, but one thing which happened and was important for us today, in this context of the lecture, is that Vyasadeva came and said, "My dear boys, your fortune will turn. You are the rightful emperors of the world. Now you are in hiding, but you should go to the marriage ceremony, not the marriage ceremony, the Swayamvara. Yes, I wanted to translate it into English. The occasion where the fireborn Draupadi will choose her husband in a contest. Thank you. All the kings of the world will be there, and Arjuna will win the contest. What was the word? Contest. Thank you. and do this, and then you will marry Draupadi, and you will be aligned with the powerful king of her father, Draupad. So, this was a Swayamvara. My dear devotees, an extra stadium had been built with many podiums. All the illustrious kings were there, and 2 very special personalities attended also, Krishna and Balaram, who had heard of the Pandavas, but who had never seen them. There was Kana, there was Duryodhana, there was Yarasandha, there was, everyone. It was like as if, I do not know the modern president so well, but as if the American president is there, we always think of Germans are insignificant, the Latin American head of state, the South African, and Angela Merkel. So imagine, it was really, they were there, and they wanted to marry this most extraordinary and most beautiful woman, Draupadi. The contest was very fierce. There was a podium in the midst of the stadium. There was a bow there, the bow of Lord Vishnu. Was it Vishnu or Shiva? Shiva, a divine weapon. And then there was a basin with water. The target itself was on a long pole. It was a wooden fish, but the fish was not visible very easily because there was a rotating wheel. So the one who wanted to win the contest had to look at the mirror reflection, take aim somehow like this, and then shoot at the right moment that arrow which needed to go through a little hole, and then bring the target down. It was an impossible feat. It was, and what made it most difficult, who can take even the bow of Lord Shiva and draw it? There were many men who needed to carry this bow inside. It was so impossible. So only the big Kshatriyas came. Many tried, but when they tried to strung the bow, they couldn't do it, and the bow just flipped back and threw them off the podest. Bang! Many. Finally, I can't tell in all details, but I would love to do this. Finally, Duryodhana came, stepped forward, looked very arrogant, took the bow, and very easily strung it. At that moment, Draupadi was trembling. Oh no, not him. Because this Duryodhana was evil-minded. He had a twisted brain. Was arrogant and self-conceited. Duryodhana drew the bow. It was a hushed moment. No one spoke. Krishna said to Balaram, he won't. Duryodhana shot. The arrow passed through the hole, but it missed. The game. All the contest, at one moment, some more tried and failed, but then they were all gone, and Drishtadyumna said, my saintly sister is still here, and no one of you weaklings, you Kshatriyas, were successful. Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else? At this moment, a very strong young man was raising. He looked so beautiful. His eyes were long. He was dressed in the garb of a forest-dwelling ascetic. His hairs were matted, but his arms were very strong. And he walked confidently. Everyone was riveted. He asked, is a Brahmin allowed to take part in the contest? Krishna's eyes were filling with tears of ecstasy. Well, said Drishtadyumna, yes, a Brahmin can marry a Kshatriya lady, but a Kshatriya man cannot marry a Brahmin lady, so yes. And then the learned Brahmana said, yes, it can do. The youth went to the bow. He did a pradakshina. Then he bowed down to the weapon of Lord Shiva. He went up the podest. He easily strung the bow. What? He drew the arrow, he took aim, and without any long delay, he just shot, and the Adaramia, the wooden arrow, the wooden fish, came tumbling down. At that moment, all the Brahmanas waved their, let's not do it because of their garments. Wow, one of us, we know, we are the best. Our Brahman, yes, and they were very, very happy. There was a hushed silence. Then from the contesting Kshatriyas there came one verse, no! And they rushed forward aiming arrows. At this moment the youth just turned around and fired so fast you couldn't really see. The bow was always drawn to full capacity. Then others came, and then all of a sudden another Brahmana, almost double as big, came. He uprooted a tree, a shal tree, and he began to beat all the powerful Kshatriyas with the tree. Krishna just laughed to Balaram and said, our nephews! This is them! The Pandavas! So we could go on, but time is there. This is an analogy of using the bow to gain something very, very valuable. My dear devotees, I would like to encourage you to make a study of this verse in your private time, 7:15:42. I would like you to consider this as a serious practice, and I want to just request Gaurahari to come, because in that 1 minute I would like to really teach you what this means in practical application. Okay, we heard a text Most of us will forget it the moment they go out of the hall, because we are not so thoughtful always. But we want to now get the essence of it, something which we can do. I request all of you to sit properly. You're here at Sadhu Sanga. You have a wonderful opportunity to turn to Krishna and gain something very valuable. If you just can chant with great presence, with attention, with devotion, I request you to, for a moment, close your eyes and to remember in your truest essence, you are a part of the Lord. You are His servant. Forget for a moment all these things which make life so complicated. You're a simple, blissful servant of Krishna. For so many long years, you have forgotten this. But today, please turn to the Lord as your sincere, as His sincere and serious servant. Please pray to the Lord to please accept you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Please chant from your heart. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Once again, I request you to remember, you are an eternal soul, part of the Lord. And now you should address during Sadhu Sanga your Lord, your only Master. Chanting means to turn to Krishna. and this may mean to turn away from illusions. Please chant now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey bo! Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I thank you very much for your attention. There are two little things I need to say. My god sister Vishaka has sat down and penned her memories of Srila Prabhupada into a very extraordinary book. It has the title 5 years, 11 months, and describes a lifetime of unexpected love. It's a very good writing. It has been praised by many reviewers as something really groundbreaking, and I think for us as disciples and grand disciples of Prabhupada, it really paints a wonderful and accessible picture of Srila Prabhupada. This book is available at the book table, which is staffed by Kosha Rupa. There is other devotees have also. Here's another book, Harmony and the Bhagavad Gita by her. Please, I have personally read these two books, and I want to say it's a wonderful read. Beg, borrow, or steal. Somehow get it, in other words. It will remind you of proper chanting. It's very artfully done. You may obtain this t-shirt as a good reminder, and it will be very inspiring. It is available also, I guess, on the t-shirt tables or wherever. Good. Main point is, we wish you a wonderful Sadhu Sanga. May you be blessed by the Lord Jagannath to significantly move forward in your relationship to Lord Krishna. Please excuse me, I took a little time, extra time. I cannot answer questions now. You please proceed to the prasadam so that you are well nourished back here on time. Hare Krishna.